Shores comes set. The 0-1. Ground ball towards Dickinson. Flips it to Milam. The relay to first in time. Tigers win. Tigers win for the second time in 3 seasons and the 8th time in program history. The Fighting Tigers reach the pinnacle. They stand alone atop the mountain. Your LSU Fighting Tigers, the 2025 College Baseball National Champions. Isn't it great to have 8?
Isn't it great to have 8 indeed, as LSU is your 2025 College Baseball National Champions, very eloquently put by Chris Blair on the LSU Tigers radio network as LSU caps off their second national championship in the last 3 seasons. Hello, everyone. Welcome into Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers for the final episode of the 2025 college baseball season. David Kahn, Kyle Schassburger with us for the final time before he heads off to Ruston, Louisiana to begin his new journey as the voice of the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. It will be less cold. It will be not as chilly as it is in the office right now. As you can see, Kyle Schassburger is wrapped up like he's sitting in Antarctica right now. I promise, buddy, it's going to be hotter in Louisiana. You're going to be okay.
It's hot here. It's like 95 degrees outside, but things are swirling with cold air every nook and cranny of this office. And yes, I have an old seeing where the logo is. I think I'm sitting on it. I've got an old IMG black blanket on me. And you better believe this is coming to my new office in Ruston on the campus of Louisiana Tech University. Happy to be with you, man. It's a bittersweet day, a sad day, as you and I celebrate our final podcast together. But we'll save that for the end. Let's focus on these Tigers and what a weekend it was. I correctly picked LSU. You took Coastal. They had won 26 games in a row, hadn't lost since April 22nd to College of Charleston, and then they lose back-to-back games, 1-0, the Cade Anderson special. And then final score in game 2 was 5-3, which featured a first-inning ejection. We'll get to all of it. It was a bonkers Saturday and Sunday in Omaha.
Yes, it certainly was. And LSU goes 5-0 at the Men's College World Series, the first team to do that since Florida back in 2017. It is the 6th consecutive year that an SEC team takes the College Baseball National Championship. You just can't beat them. You can't beat the SEC. This is the best chance anybody ever had. They had 2 teams in the College World Series. That only one was going to get out, if any. One did, but one never lost, and it was LSU. After they walk off Arkansas on Wednesday, they get 2 days off. Cade Anderson, Anthony Ianson, way too much for Coastal Carolina to handle. LSU got just enough offense in game 1, the Stephen Milam RBI single, and then game 2, a couple of 2-run singles from Chris Stanfield and Derek Curiel to win it 5-3 with a 4-run 4th inning. But really, LSU used 3 pitchers on the weekend: Anderson, Ianson, and Shores, who very appropriately closed it out. We all know his story, 18 months of rehab after being a weekend starter in the 2023 National Championship team as a freshman, rehabs, gets to close it out for his second save of the year and make Tiger Town, Title Town, as Carl Ravage aptly put it, at the end of the Men's College World Series back on Sunday afternoon. But yeah, it was certainly a wild weekend, certainly one not without storylines and a lot to talk about. I think let's just start here. 4 years ago, when Jay Johnson became the head coach at LSU, the expectation was national championship immediately, right? That was the thought. He comes over from Arizona, and they're like, all right, well, his first year at Arizona, he took them all the way to the College World Series finals. They lost to Coastal, but he is right there. This is a national championship winning head coach. He comes in 2022 is I don't know if I want to say down year for LSU, but they don't win at all. And fans are irate. They're like, what's going on? Are you kidding me? Like, they're up in arms. And then he quiets all the noise, wins it in 2023. That thrilling game in the 11th inning with Tommy White hitting the walk-off homer for Wake Forest to send them into the finals, and they win it over Florida. 2024, doesn't happen. Now this year, he wins it again. Jay Johnson is now the fastest coach in college baseball history to win multiple national championships at one school. So all you folks who said this is not good, that Jay Johnson was not worth it, you have been proven wrong.
Jay
Johnson just won 2 national championships in 4 seasons at LSU. Congratulations to LSU on your 8th title.
I just saw a freezing cold take for an article written in Louisiana. You might have saw the same thing where the headline was, Jay Johnson is not the home run hire. Well, he is everything of the home run hire and more that anybody could have imagined. It's beyond imagination when you think about this program and LSU, the stranglehold that it has on the sport and had for some time. But there was a lull, if you will, between this latest golden era, this new golden age of LSU baseball that Jay Johnson has taken LSU to. First College World Series title came in 1991, 93, 96, 97, 2000. But then 2009 with Paul Maneri, that was the only title that they had won with Paul. Now, they lost in the finals to Florida. By the way, 6 straight SEC, as you mentioned, Kahn, but 7 of the last 8 when you go back to LSU's title in 17, or Florida's title over LSU in 17, Oregon State winning in 18, and then Vandy in 19, starting this run of 6 consecutive Southeastern Conference champions in baseball. So you had 91, 93, 96, 97, 2000, 09. Now, 2023 with a super team just littered with mega stars, and then this 2025 team that does it much differently than the 23 team, a team that seemingly got better as the season wore on. Jay Johnson talked a lot about, look, our training was in the regular season. Every single week we were building, we were becoming more together. He spoke a lot about the togetherness of this team. They didn't have like some massive superstar on the hill like a Paul Skeens or a Dylan Cruz with the bat. Hell, Jared Jones struck out 5 times, I think, on 2 different occasions in the last like week and a half, you know? But if it wasn't Jared Jones, it was Stephen Milam coming through. And he had that big RBI in the first inning of the Cade Anderson game on Saturday. Up and down, 1 through 9, they were so bad outside of Michael Braswell. But how poetic was it for him to finally get a hit on Sunday, too, and end his 0-for streak in Omaha? I mean, the dude was batting like 185, I think, before he had gotten that hit on Sunday. But his glove was impeccable. You needed that guy at third base, and he was tested and delivered time and time again throughout the entire postseason, throughout the season. You understood why Braswell was in the lineup for his glove. But 2, you know, to apply or execute a sacrifice perfectly, beautifully, to know that you can trust him to make the right play. This lineup, this staff, the pieces that were in place, this might be, it's prisoner of the moment, but really think about it. How much easier, and I say easier, considering the names that I had mentioned from the 2023 team to this team that was youthful. Sure, it had a lot of transfer portal additions. It had a couple of mainstays, but it had guys who had to really bide their time. And Cade Anderson was one of those guys too. Ethan Fry. There was nowhere to put him in the lineup in 2023. He was hurt most of last year. This is a majestic job by Jay Johnson, and he hasn't been here for what seems like 5 minutes at a place that has so much history and is the standard. And LSU just continues to win and win in new ways. And it's a phenomenal job by the Tigers. Yeah, Coastal, you had a great run. But I think what Jay Johnson has done, nothing can be more emblematic of the way this team did it this year, because I never would have thought. And Jay even said they were preseason, I think, number 3. Jay had said, I don't know for the third best team in the country. Like, he was not gung-ho on this squad. But now look what they've done here in 2025.
Their motto all year was tougher together, and they were tougher together against Coastal Carolina over the weekend to win the college baseball national championship. You bring up the national titles that they had won through the 90s and the early 2000s. I saw a great stat put out by the LSU baseball recruiting Twitter. They are the only D1 school or professional franchise among Big Four sports with 8 national championships since 1990. Isn't that crazy?
Baseball school.
Yeah. LSU, baseball powerhouse, as they call themselves. There will be a new billboard beyond Alex Box Stadium in right center field. That will be happening. The Intimidator. That will be updated with the 2025 national title. There will be a national championship celebration Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Central at Alex Box Stadium. That's when you can celebrate the Tigers national title if you live in the wonderful city of Baton Rouge. LSU just littered with talent. The all-tournament team, you mentioned some of these guys. Jared Jones, Stephen Milam, Cade Anderson, Derek Curiel, of course, with some massive hits throughout the entire NCAA tournament, especially in the Men's College World Series. So those 4 are named to the all-tournament team. As LSU wins their final 8 games, they didn't lose after beating Little Rock in that decisive Game 7 in the Baton Rouge Regional. So just a phenomenal job up and down the lineup. Jay Johnson, Nate Yeske, that entire staff putting together just a awesome run for the Tigers, who, like you said, nobody in the preseason was like giving LSU a chance. They're like, oh, they're number 3, great. That doesn't matter. They'll be there, but they won't win. It's that this team has a lot of question marks, whatever. And they put it all together at the right time. It is all about who gets hot at the right time and who is playing together at the right time. And that was the LSU Tigers, and they win the national championship in 2025. I do want to break down each of these games. Game 1, obviously, was the Cade Anderson story. Game 2.
One more thing on Jay, just from a numbers perspective, and this should be updated. So Jay, in 4 complete seasons, 4 seasons, 507 in 13 seasons total as a head coach. But at LSU, in 4 seasons, 190 wins. Now 2 national titles, just 77 losses. He's 43 and 16. 43 and 16 in NCAA tournament games. Wow. And 26 and 7 with the Tigers overall. So 43 and 16 across his 13 years, 26 and 7 in the NCAA tournament with LSU. And in the College World Series, Jay Johnson now 16 and 7 all time across those 13 years. Again, spent time at Arizona, took Game 1 against Coastal Carolina in 2016 before losing. 5 and 5 at Arizona, and now 11 and 2 in the College World Series at LSU. 11 and 2.
Wow. That's amazing. 11 and 2 in Omaha. And you said he's 26 and 7 at NCAA tournament games. So think about that if you're an LSU fan. He's played 33 NCAA tournament games in 4 years. There's schools that haven't played 33 NCAA tournament games ever. No. Like that. That's amazing. Well, that's a great stat. Way to find that one, Schass. Well done on your way out the door on your Swan Song podcast.
Just trying to contribute, man. Just trying to contribute. Trying to not let you down.
I appreciate it. One final time. All right, let's talk Game 1 first before we get into what was unfortunately stolen by the show that we had in Game number 2 before LSU won the title. Game 1, LSU wins 1-0. First time ever that LSU has a 1-0 win in the postseason, by the way. It's the Cade Anderson show. He was sensational. 9 innings, 3 hits, 5 walks, 10 Ks, 130 pitches, the 3rd ever shutout in the Men's College World Series finals, going back to 2003. That's when the finals started. You had Kevin Abel at Oregon State with 2018. Fittingly, who was the pitching coach? Nate Yeske. And then J.C. Cloney for Arizona in 2016. And you know who the head coach was that year. Jay Johnson, Nate Yeske. No ball. All right? Duh. Freezing cold take. But anyways, Cade Anderson, dude. What more can you say? He was otherworldly on Saturday.
Cade improved to 12-1 on the season. 3 hits, 10 strikeouts, did walk 5. Complete game shutout, 130 total pitches. That guy was, there was thought after he ended the 8th inning, okay, he's done, right? Like, turn it over your bullpen. I don't know why anybody would ever thought that. Like, this guy was not coming out of that game. This guy was not coming out. And he shoved. He showed out in the best of ways on the biggest stage. And I can't help but go back to Hoover and what we saw from LSU and what appeared to be very unconventional when they went from Cade Anderson to Anthony Ianson. And, you know, LSU ended up winning that game against Texas A&M in a bonkers fashion, not to relitigate that whole week or that night. But then they lost in game 2. So they were 2-done in Hoover. But still, like, listening to Jay following Cade's performance, where I think he struck out like 10 of the first 11 or 10 of the first 12. I mean, it was something insane. And then for Ianson to come in, get into trouble, work his way out of trouble, and hear Jay just laud both of those guys. Like, Cade's the number 1 pitcher, top pitcher, best pitcher in the country. And then coming and interrupting our post-game interview with Gabe Genovese on the field with Ianson. Yes. And Jay gets in there and says, this guy's the best pitcher in the country. Like he waffles, but he doesn't. It's like 1A and 1B type thing between Cade and Ianson. And what a freaking luxury to have these two dudes on the same team. There was a graphic at one point, and I don't know if I can remember exactly some of the tandems and pairings, like Kumar Rocker and Jack Leiter are one of them, but like top 1-2 punches of all time. Garrett Cole, UCLA. Who was his? Was that Trevor Bauer? Was it Garrett Cole and Trevor Bauer? I can't remember. But like there's a handful of schools where going back the last 30 years, we can come up with some pretty, debilitating 1-2 punches when it comes to the offenses and how they view those guys and how unhittable they are. And I don't think it is being prisoner of the moment. I mean, you look at the numbers, you look at what these two guys have done all year, and Cade goes 12-1. Ianson did get the win, 12-2. They're combined 24-3 this year. Mm-hmm. And they're each over 140, 150 strikeouts. I know Cade was over 150.
Cade led the country.
Yeah, it's insane, man. The embarrassment of riches. And people are going to love to hate LSU because of that. It's, this well, the New England Patriots stigma, when you're the best and how people are rooting for your failures, or they think maybe you're cheating, or maybe you're leveraging, things, or making the most of certain resources or opportunities that maybe the little guy or programs that are big but don't have the opportunity to cash in on. Well, newsflash, it wasn't always like that. It's only been since 1990. It was a long buildup that was engineered by Skip Bertman more than anything. And I love after game 2, even after the ejection, we'll get to it, but Bertman wanted a moment with Kevin Schnall, and they were on the field together because Skip Bertman wanted to embrace Kevin Schnall and his team, and certainly I'm sure offer his condolences in many ways, or lack of support for what had ensued earlier in that game. But LSU has earned that right. They have built themselves into the self-proclaimed powerhouse that they utilize as their moniker and as their MO. Appropriately so, given they've won 8 titles all since 1990. But they recruit nationally. They've got the West Coast flair. Derek Curiel is from California. They get into the portal. Yes, they have NIL money, but they have all of this because they've built a brand and a program. And yes, it's a big-time university with deep-pocketed boosters and NIL resources, but they've leveraged them because they've earned that right. So you want to hate them? Hate them, fine. But like, wouldn't you rather be in their position than somebody else's, or at least be in a spot of power where you can try to use them as the mold to mirror yourself after? And that's what they are. They are the standard. Other teams in the SEC and beyond. This isn't just, I know the SEC has dominated the sport 6 straight, 7 out of the last 8. Well, this is a challenge to everyone else to come up and try to overtake them. I'm going to Louisiana Tech, okay? Louisiana Tech is actually most known for their women's basketball program.
Yeah,
2
they just extended their coach one more year.
Just extended Brooke Store one more year. Kim Mulkey played on some of those teams in the mid to late 80s that included numerous Final Fours. I think it was 10 Final Fours in total. They won 2 national championships. They were runner-up like 4 or 5 different times. The Thomas Assembly Center, the TAC, is just littered with all of these Final Four banners, national championship banners, participation game, all that. Are they the program that they once were? No, but they established that history. They had a great run under Leon Barmore, the head coach, who orchestrated most of all of this success. But they were UConn women's basketball and Tennessee women's basketball before UConn and Tennessee had become who they are today, or more recently, UConn. Yeah. It was Louisiana Tech women's basketball nationally, a brand, okay, still very recognizable. But since then, it was Tennessee in the late 90s, early 2000s. It goes to UConn. Yeah. And South Carolina's had a little bit of a run too. But this isn't to say that LSU is going to run the sport forever. No. Yeah. And they very well could. They're best positioned to do that. But use this as a challenge, these other programs, these other leagues, to try and chase their successes. And for other fan bases, why do you even waste bandwidth to throw tomatoes at these guys or be upset? Like, you cannot agree with it because it's not your team, and that's the beauty of fandom and how phonetically crazy people are in pulling for the worst things to happen to those that endure or experience the most triumphant of experiences. That's just life. But dude, LSU has earned it every single step of the way. So hat tip to them.
Absolutely. Love a lot of the stuff you said there. I thought that was incredible. Very eloquent way to put it. Here's the thing. You're exactly right about LSU and where they stand in the position of the sport. And the reason they stand there is because of the fact that they are relentless. They never stop. Jay Johnson was on the Paul Feinbaum show yesterday, and he said, I have a Zoom with a player tonight, like that I'm recruiting. They've already signed players in the portal while they're playing. He even had a player text him after game 1 telling him, hey, coach, I'm not coming on my official visit. I committed to another school. And Jay was like, did you watch our game that we just played? Why would you not want to come here? Because it was right after Kate Anderson's gem. And so, but they are relentless, dude. They never stop. Jay Johnson just won another national title, and the next day he's like, oh, yeah, I gotta talk to a player. I gotta keep this up. Like, they're gonna lose a good portion of this team, right? Yeah. So you got to rebuild, and they rebuilt this year, and they won a national title. So yeah, why would you not want to come to LSU? Why would you not want to go to the SEC? Honestly, because they've won 6 straight national championships.
0 for 9. So game 1, I do want to say, and you might be going there. I think Coastal was 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Mm-hmm. That also just speaks to the dominance of Kate Anderson.
Yes. Absolutely. Before we get to game 2, I want to give Kate Anderson the flowers he deserves officially by naming him the final Borgo Ball moment that delivered. All right? That is Kate Anderson. No question about it. Here's your Borgo Ball right here, delivered by BackyardBaseballBros.com. The Borgonio Bros, they continue to go viral, Schass, to the tune of the fact, this was just tweeted by their father this morning, and I'm going to share this tweet with you real quick just so you can see it. Over 60,000 followers and tens of thousands of balls sold worldwide. Worldwide. They've made it to Australia. They have over 60,000 followers, and they've sold over 10,000 Borgo balls. How about that?
That's insane,
and you know what?
Man.
You can get yours by going to BackyardBaseballBros.com, paying them a very low fee of $20. And you get a 4-pack of these Borgo balls, raised seams, foam baseball. You can play with it indoors. Very easy to use. You can throw any pitch you want. There's games being developed with Borgo balls right now with different kind of scoring rules. It's awesome. The Borgonio Bros have struck gold. We are proud to have them as a partner of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. Borgo balls, BackyardBaseballBros.com. Congratulations to them on all of their success. Just wanted to share that as we give Kate Anderson the final Borgo ball moment that delivered during 2025.
We had a no-hitter in this College World Series, 19 Ks, Gage Wood. Gage is great. And then we had a 9-inning complete game shutout by Kate
Second
Anderson.
One of the year for Kate Anderson. He threw another one. But third ever in the Men's College World Series. Impressive. All right, game 2.
BackyardBaseballBros.com, by the way, you can see the Bubblegum Blast they're continuing to promote. Not officially available yet. Yes. However, there will be another, the originals there, the OG, but the Bubblegum Blast limited edition will be available soon. I did bust out the Borgo Ball OG and my buddy Dustin's on Friday. Should have it this Friday as well. We played in the yard, and man, dude, the spin rate on these things, it is so sick. We know this. Dude. We've been talking about it all year, but it's nearly unhittable. But when you do square it up, that thing will freaking fly, man. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. We do have teas. Are we going to save this towards the end of the show? We have a bracket winner. We will get to you. I was going
to do it now.
Okay, want. Yeah, do. Okay. I thought that was
I'll do it now.
Yeah, let's do it.
So the D1 Baseball Bracket Challenge has been finalized. We have a winner of the D1 Baseball Bracket Challenge pool. Over 20 submissions. It was not Ethan Power, Kyle Schassburger. It is someone that you and I both know very well. It is someone that up until next week, I've called many things, but namely my landlord. It is Drew Brackett. Wow. Congratulations to the Drewster, as he's called, on the D1 Baseball Bracket Challenge. He is the winner of the 2025 D1 Baseball Bracket Challenge pool. He will be receiving a 4-pack of Borgo balls. And I want to tell you this, Schass, because I was sitting on the couch with Drew last night, and I had not checked the bracket challenge yet. And Drew goes, man, I think I picked Arkansas. How badly did I do in the bracket challenge? I'm like, oh, let me pull it up. Let me check. And I pull it up, and I'm like, Drew, you won. He's like, no, I didn't. I'm like, yeah, you did. I show him the phone. He's like, holy crap. Who'd I pick? And I was like, you picked LSU. You're the only one who picked LSU to win. And he's like, that's awesome. What do I get? And I threw him the Borgo ball. And he was like, oh, that's cool. So Drew
awesome.
won. Yeah.
So
Drew
in the year,
will get the 4-pack.
In the year that the Rooster made it all the way back to
Yes.
Omaha.
Yes.
Could not win a game against LSU, but still to the final series.
Yep.
It is instead the Drewster who climbs the tallest mountain and will be shouting from the summit that he is the landlord of the next 4-pack of Borgo balls.
That's right. I will be emailing the Bergonio Bros with my address, actually, until next week today, to say, hey guys, when you get back from your international adventure, we have a winner. Send him his way.
I thought you moved, man. I thought you're out.
I am moving officially next week. It's been a slow process.
This is like the longest move I've ever.
Whatever. It's fine. I don't really care. Anyways, game 2. So LSU won 5-3. That's not the story, unfortunately. The story is the ump show that was put on in the first inning. So let's give the context, and then we'll play Kevin Schnall's entire post-game comments on the ejection. So this all started in the top of the first inning, actually, with words being exchanged between LSU's coach and the home plate umpire.
Yeah, Josh Jordan, right?
Yeah, Josh Jordan. And it boiled over in the bottom of the first inning when there was a missed call on a ball that was called a strike, and a missed call by our home plate umpire Angel Campos, who, by the way, was actually the same umpire that threw out Cam Canarella last year in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah,
so
this dude was already blacklisted from Major League Baseball.
Correct. Yes.
And found himself in college, and he's been the center of scrutiny and controversy and quick trigger and all of that. That's been his MO.
Yes, correct. So he misses a call, and Kevin Schnall from the dugout, barks, and Angel Campos apparently warned him. Kevin Schnall didn't hear it. So Kevin Schnall saw him turn towards him, didn't hear it, came out of the dugout to continue talking. Then he heard the warning from Angel Campos, and Kevin Schnall, as we all saw in the video, said, "For what?" And Angel Campos turned toward him and said, "For arguing balls and strikes. Don't do that." And Kevin Schnall responded, "You missed 3."
Yeah.
Meaning you've missed 3 pitches, balls and strikes. Now, I will say, the NCAA does have a rule that says you're not allowed to argue balls and strikes, but that's a bunch of bullshit. So whatever.
I don't think we need to lay it out any more beautifully than what Kevin Schnall does actually with his post-game remarks. So we'll just pick it up from there. The long and end of it is he gets ejected. First base coach Matt Schilling also gets tossed. 2 fingers are thrown up by an umpire that does fall. Okay, but I'll let Kevin Schnall describe it for you. And Coastal had to play that entire game because it was the bottom of the first inning. It was the 28th pitch of the inning after a stolen base at second is when all of this ensued. And here's Kevin Schnall following the loss to LSU.
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watched the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. They'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is. But if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections. As an umpire, I feel like it's your job to manage the game. The national championship game with some poise, some calmness, and a little bit of tolerance.
Yeah, I think that's a perfect statement by Kevin Schnall. I'll be perfectly honest with you. I think he laid it out expertly, and I think he's exactly right. There's a bunch of things in there that we need to unpack. First and foremost, Kevin Schnall getting shushed by an umpire for asking what the warning was for. You can't do that. You have to at least tell him what the warning is for. And then after he tells you what the warning is for, Kevin Schnall didn't curse, which, by the way, the official statement from the NCAA said he cursed. He didn't curse, at least not that we saw on video. He said, you missed 3 pitches. There's no curse word in there. Everyone can read his lips on the video. There's no profanity. The statement from the NCAA said he used profanity and was warned for that, and then used profanity again. Well, there's no evidence of that we've seen. So I don't know what the heck that was about. Number 2, the shoving the umpire. Kevin Schnall didn't touch the umpire. This first base umpire came weaseling his way in to try and separate Schnall from Campos and fell because he tried to squeeze his way through the 2 guys and fell. Kevin's hands were at his hips the whole time.
And there was another
him, shoved him, touched him. There was a third umpire. They got tangled together and he tripped over his own feet. That's what happened. We can all see it on the video. So the fact that he embarrasses himself and to cover up for his own mistake, instead of owning it like Kevin Schnall says he would do if he made the mistake, he immediately goes, bump, 2 games, 2-game suspension. And it's like, dude, really? Because you've ejected Kevin Schnall from this game. So now you're saying if they win, he can't coach in game 3 and the opener next year? Like, come on, man. Have a little class. Have a little restraint. Like, good Lord. That was one of the calmest head coach ejections I'd ever seen. And it's in the first inning. Like, you got to have a little bit more poise there if you're an umpire. I thought it was horribly handled by the entire crew.
Yeah, restraint is a word I would use. You got to have tolerance. You got to know the situation. You got to understand that, hey, this is for a national championship, and you've got to tighten up the screws when it comes to your quick trigger, maybe that you would normally have. And it wasn't Campos that was holding up the 2 figures, but it was Campos behind home plate that instigated this whole thing, if you will. And could Schnall I don't care if he was swearing. He may have been swearing, like, I'm not a lip reader. I don't know. But to me, I don't care. He could have said, I'm going to take your mother out tonight and do this and that with her. I don't give a damn. None of that should have been worthy of an ejection in that moment in game 2, the Men's College World Series. Like, you've got to pump the brakes. Mm-hmm. And there was another umpire with Campos initially before the third one came weaseling in, as you put it, and he very much did. And then his lack of athleticism, which I thought was one of a few great one-hitters in there from Schnall's response in postgame on Sunday. He should not have to apologize for another man's athleticism. Just great. Very pointed stuff. Schnall has become such a favorite of mine over this year, this postseason more than anything, because he's been the center of attention with this Coastal Carolina team that had won 26 in a row up until Saturday. But, his response to the Kevin O'Sullivan situation for the Coastal Regional, the shot to Cleaver's brand and nickname and just standing up for his program in a way to say, hey, look, we're not the little guy. We're not some Cinderella. Like, he's always had his chest puffed out, and they have talked the talk as much as they have walked the walk. But that second umpire that was with Campos before the third one came in and tripped over his own feet or the umpire's feet, I thought there was a chest bump that was initiated from the other base umpire that was initially there, because he started to walk up towards Schnall very aggressively, and it seemed like that umpire kind of poked his chest out. I haven't heard anybody talk about that, and if you look at the video more closely, you'll see that the other umpire next to Campos, before the third comes in and actually falls, was initiating a bit of a bump. And at this point, it's like, this is so off the rails, and this is becoming such a black eye on the sport that it made you sick, because we've had several postseasons now here consecutively that have been marred by some sort of an ejection that was egregious and totally unnecessary. Like, know the moment of the game, the stage of the year, what is up for grabs, what we're playing for. And you've got to be a little more passive on these things. It's no different than there are points of emphasis for any referee or umpiring crew. I think it's more so in football and basketball. You hear the term, certainly basketball, points of emphasis, where you are trying to really tighten the screws early on in a season to just, remind folks of any sort of rule change, or maybe what players or coaches were looking to take advantage of in the past. Like, hey, we're going to crack the whip a little more tightly here, and hopefully this corrects you later in the season, where we can swallow our whistle at times and not be a bunch of jags where we're turning this into something about ourselves and taking all of the spotlight off of the coaches and the players. That same sort of premise should be applied here in these moments where, yeah, you can't argue balls and strikes. I get that. Schnall, if anything, was asking for a little more clarification when he said, why have you ejected me? And then the umpire, Campos, says, well, you're arguing balls and strikes. And then Schnall's like, why? Because you missed 3? Yeah, that was a little like childish, in terms of a response. But like, we've all been there with our frustration and how we're going to respond in the heat of battle and in the moment. It wasn't like some new set of circumstances from what he was initially ejected for. He was just looking for the clarification on what exactly ball or strike or whatever it was might have been missed. So, you can't have that. The flip side is Jay Johnson, though, the game before, you may know where I'm going with this, with Daniel Dickinson, when he got viewed the ball 4 on a 3-2 count when he got hit on the elbow guard, and then they reviewed it, and they ruled he would be out and that he leaned into it or whatever.
Also a bad call.
Whatever the analogy was. Yeah, a brutal call. It was a 1-0 win for LSU, so it didn't matter. But there was an opportunity there where Jay Johnson could have argued something. And Jay was asked about it after the game, after game 1. And he had said, look, I know the rule. Like, I can't go out there and argue a review after something that's reviewed on film. I simply came out there just asking for clarification, which I think is good on him to at least make himself known and to voice his displeasure in some way. He's not coming out fiery to argue anything, but he got the clarification he needed. He just wanted them to say it to his face versus announcing it to a crowd of 25,000 and a national audience on television. But Jay said afterwards, he's like, look, I knew that my team needed me. They needed me to be poised in that situation. So he was not going to jeopardize his presence in that ball game and was very cognizant and very aware of the stakes in that moment. I think for Kevin Schnall, if he could do it differently, he would do it differently and not race out. Race might be a strong word, but march out of the dugout the way that he had done so, and then had the smart aleck comment because you missed 3. Schnall probably would have that back if he could in hindsight. However, it doesn't take away from the ludicrous nature of this entire thing where this umpire has got to be better. Why is he doing the Men's College World Series. That guy should never ump a postseason game ever again. Sorry, Swack, but he should be relegated to your league. Earn your lumps, buy back some goodwill and support, but you should not be doing a national championship game, let alone any postseason game, given what you did last year at Clemson with Florida in ejecting a time. We saw Eric Backett start the year with a 2-game suspension.
Yeah, and now Kevin Schnall will.
Yeah.
And Matt Schilling, the first base coach, if he's still there, will be ejected for 3 games.
Yeah.
Because he got 1 for being ejected, as is the rule for an assistant coach, and then he got 2 more for excessive arguing or whatever. I don't know. Is ridiculous. I agree with you. Kevin Schnall probably would have handled it differently now. But here's the thing. I am all on Kevin Schnall, all in on Kevin Schnall. I think he's going to be phenomenal at Coastal as the head coach. I already want to go there for the preseason preview pod next year. I think that would be fantastic. That's already in my brain with wherever this podcast goes, but I already want to do that. So that's my goal for February of 2026 is to go.
You don't want to come. You don't want to come to Ruston, Louisiana?
Nope, sure don't. I've been there one time, and I'm good.
Come on, man. Diamond Dogs are part of my early 8 for Omaha. Not
good
sure
for you. Nope, didn't do that.
Speaking of Daniel Dickinson, he broke his hamate bone. Hamate? Ooh. How do you say it? Hamate? Hamate
right? Bone, yeah.
Yeah. He this surfaced after the win. The hamate was broken in the regional opener.
Oh,
he continued to play with it. And
holy crap.
LSU's second baseman, the same injury that Warren Morris had. So how about conjuring up some nostalgia and old LSU memories?
Crazy.
So
wow. I didn't know that. Anyways, the
one more thing on this. Sorry. Why do we care what a coach says to the umpire? Joe Healy brought this up on the D1 pod yesterday, and he's spot on. Why is it Dan Hurley or John Calipari or Rick Pitino can lose their absolute minds at officials in college basketball? In the NBA, it's less of a thing, but certainly in college basketball. And also in football, you can see Nick Saban when he was on the sidelines, or Kirby Smart, Lane Kiffin. Name your head coach. They will rip off their headsets, throw it across the sideline, jump up and down, stomp their feet, go ballistic. Mm-hmm. These guys are never ejected, rarely warned. It's a sideline warning, if anything. They've got all these staff members that are pulling them back. Why are we drawing such a hard line in the sand with these baseball coaches to make some rule black and white that is only exclusive to the sport of baseball? That is what I don't understand. That is taboo. That is outdated. If we change that, that will alleviate some of these issues in the future.
Totally agree. Fantastic point by you. Totally agree with that. The notable numbers for LSU for game 2. Anthony Ianson, 6 1/3, 3 runs, 9 Ks, 1 walk, 99 pitches. He was sensational. 4-run, 4th inning, puts it away. Chris Stanfield, Derek Curiel, couple of 2-run singles. Chase Shores, the final 2 2/3, scoreless, 4 Ks, coming in after Wells Sykes hits the 2-run homer. What a postseason he had, especially in Omaha for Wells Sykes, the kid from Charleston, South Carolina, doing it in Conway on the highest stage. Jacob Morrison suffers his first loss of the year, but LSU is your 2025 national champions. And of course, we have to show you the fantastic merchandise that Home Field Apparel, one of our great sponsors, has delivered to celebrate LSU's 2025 national championship. The LSU 2025 Baseball National Champs Ringer Tee, $40 right now on homefieldapparel.com. You can get any size you want. Take a look at that beaut. Kyle Schassburger, I mean, I know you want it. I want it. Look at that thing. That is vintage and nice.
I definitely don't want it. Us at Louisiana Tech don't care much for the school to the south, so I would have no use for that particular shirt. However, there are plenty of other options at homefieldapparel.com. 3D 15, get 15% off your order. And yeah, if you want that National Champs Fighting Tiger shirt, it is pretty stealthy looking. It's got that retro feel to it that so many of the Home Field Apparel items do. It's what makes them so great. They're continuing to launch and drop new items. It seems like every single day, but this is just the latest gem to the collection from Home Field, homefieldapparel.com. Josh, I would assume is back from Omaha at this point. God, it's one of those things. People that go up there for the event, I mean, that's 2 weeks of your life around the games, man. 2 weeks
Yes, it is.
of your life.
Yes, it is. We've been going around the diamond presented by Home Field Apparel and their Diamond Classics collection, all men's College World Series long. As Kyle said, 3D15 gets you 15% off your first order at Home Field. They make quality, thoughtful apparel for more than 190 colleges and universities. We had all of the teams represented at the men's College World Series on Home Field Apparel with the Coastal Carolina Omaha project, the surprise Murray State drop, more Coastal stuff coming soon. I'd assume more Murray State stuff coming soon as well from Josh and his incredible team. Home Field's next summer school drop is out on Thursday. It's UConn. Speaking of Dan Hurley, 8 new hats from their UConn line are coming on Thursday, so make sure you get that as well. Homefieldapparel.com. Thank you to Josh Johns and his team for being a great sponsor for us all postseason long. We have thoroughly enjoyed working with you, and we look forward to continue doing that in the future. Couple of things on LSU to close the book on. I don't know if you saw this. The Empire State Building lit up purple and gold to celebrate LSU's college baseball national championship. First time ever that the Empire State Building has lit up for a College World Series champion. I thought that was incredibly cool. Also, apparently, Jake Brown and the LSU team had Crocs shipped to them overnight.
Yeah.
After Jake Brown revealed that he had been buying Crocs with his per diem money, and the company caught wind of it, and they sent Crocs to the entire LSU team. I thought that was pretty cool in Omaha.
Yeah, he said his text thread was blown up. I think you sent me that, right? I'd seen it because you shared it with me. Yeah, his text thread was blown up. The team chat, he had asked everyone's sizes for the Crocs, and it was just a bunch of sizes. Nobody was saying thank you or anything. No, he was kidding, though. But, yeah, they loved it. I don't understand the infatuation with Crocs. So if you're looking for a Crocs partnership here on this PodCon, I'm not the guy to help you here on the way out the door. Okay.
No,
all right.
I'm not either. We're good. We can move on. Let's move on to the Jello shot final numbers. LSU won. Shocker. 52,390 shots bought and consumed by LSU faithful at Rocco's Pizza Bar and Cantina in Omaha, which seemed like it got overrun again by LSU Nation. Incredible stuff by the Tiger faithful. The next closest, Coastal Carolina, with 9,117. So wide
43,000 more than the next closest program. Murray State did finish fourth.
83-40. Arkansas, 9,075 was third. LSU, your first repeat champion after 68,000 plus 2 years ago. That means their 2 winning years alone, 120,000 plus Jello shots for LSU.
It's a lot of Jello, man.
It's a lot of Jello. I don't love Jello that much, I'll be honest. I would probably buy like one and be done because I just don't love Jello that much. But anyways, Rocco's doing great stuff. They've donated over $500,000 across the years they've been doing this now to food banks across the entire country. The Baton Rouge food bank that they are donating to will be getting a ton of money this year for the 52,000 Jello shots that LSU fans consumed. So well done to Rocco's, well done to LSU for, claiming the rightful title that we all knew you would continue to claim.
Do you think it's a prerequisite to like Jello to be able to take a Jello shot?
No, of course not. But I won't put something in my body that I don't like. I'm not like you.
I think most people don't like Jello.
Yeah.
Most adults, okay?
Yeah.
But Jello shots are going to be consumed at a high rate because it is alcohol infused.
Yeah.
Like I think the majority of people who are taking Jello shots are not thinking about whether or not they like or dislike Jello. Mm-hmm. It's a shot of alcohol that's frozen over with a little bit of Jello on top. Like it's never been about the Jello. It's just the action. It's the activity. And it's a fun, cool, unique way of putting together a shot. And you do so just so happens to be with Jello. But I've never heard somebody say, I don't like Jello, so maybe I'll take one Jello shot, but that's it. I'm done. I just had never heard somebody say that out of their mouth. But you are a unique individual.
I am indeed. I am.
Yes.
I have a unique surprise for you, and I will get to that as well as some coaching carousel news to help celebrate you walking out the door for the final time. You're on Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingoes. We will get to that on the other side of this timeout. We'll be back in just a minute.
College
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
All right, we're back for just a couple more minutes here on Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. David Kahn, Kyle Schassburger at SportsCon4 at Kyle Schass. The final episode of the 2025 college baseball season. Schass, before we get to my surprise for you on the way out the door, coaching carousel. Yes, Golden Spikes Award. Let's get to that first. Thank you very much for reminding me. I was going to go to the coaching carousel, but let's go to the Golden Spikes Award. Wehiwa Aloy. My surefire lock.
The prized one. Yeah.
Nailed it. Wehiwa Aloy is your Golden Spikes Award winner, the 47th winner in the award's history, third at Arkansas, joining Kevin Kopps in 2021, Andrew Benintendi in 2015, making Arkansas the only SEC program with 3 or more Golden Spikes Award winners. Congratulations to Wehiwa Aloy. You are the Arkansas rabid fan, or you were, as you work with them, you work with their network, you live and breathe Arkansas baseball for a long, long time. You've called games for them. So I will let you wax poetic on Wehiwa Aloy winning the Golden Spikes Award.
I will always remain a fan of the Hogs, given my connection with them, helping to manage their network the last few years. Yeah, all the fill-in work. But Wehiwa, it means his name, the prized one. He led the team in almost every offensive category this year. Batting average, slugging, on-base percentage, runs scored, hits, doubles, home runs, extra base hits, total bases. I don't know what he finished with. I think he had 21 home runs.
Yep.
Okay, average around like 350. Okay,
yep.
Just going off the top of my head right there. He finalist for the Brooks Wallace Award, semifinalist for a Dick Hauser Trophy. What he's done with the glove, though, I mean, he is a magician. And, of course, he was scrutinized over the one play in the loss against LSU that we had talked about last week, where he went to get the sure out at third with the bouncing ball to his right. And could he have tried to turn 2? So, that will forever be debated, but shouldn't take away from what he provided with his glove at shortstop for his 2 seasons in Fayetteville since transferring over from Sacramento State. And offensively, the jump from year 1 to year 2 with Arkansas was incredible. SEC Player of the Year and your Golden Spikes Award winner in 2025. Consolation prize for Arkansas not making it to the MCWS finals? No, I don't think so. But
no,
Aloy was back up there to receive the trophy.
Dave Van Horn came back.
DVH
he flew
was back.
in.
Yeah.
He flew in to surprise him, which I thought was really cool. First Hawaiian to ever win the award, also for Wehiwa Aloy. 68 runs batted in, 81 runs scored, 1.107 OPS for Wehiwa Aloy, your 2025 Golden Spikes Award winner. My surefire lock. Nailed it. Let's go. I'm taking the torch from you, and I'm running it right through the freight train in the next year. I will get my locks on lock in 2026. I also think Kyle Schassburger, he should be the final addition to the all Schass squad in 2025.
Let's put him on there, man. Let's put him on there. He is He's definitely worthy.
All right. Wehiwa Aloy is the 2025 final submission for the Golden Spikes Award. So the final all Schass squad.
Do I have a catcher on there?
No.
It's Cade Beaudin.
Okay. I love that. All right. Okay, so here is your final all Schass squad in 2025. James Quinn Irons from George Mason, outfielder. Jet Music from Campbell, outfielder and right-handed pitcher. Maximus Martin from Kansas State, infielder. Blake Gillespie, right-handed pitcher from Charlotte. Malachi Knight, outfielder from Washington. The D1 baseball staffers, Joe Healy would be our representative. Jack Oman, right-hander from Yale. Liam Doyle, left-hander from Tennessee. Angel Cano, infielder from Little Rock. Wehiwa Aloy, infielder from Arkansas. Caden Bodine, catcher from Coastal Carolina.
I think I need another infielder.
You have 3. Yes, you do. Give me one. Who you got?
Mm.
You have 3 righties. Technically, 3 righties with Jet Music, who could be a reliever, and you have Liam Doyle as a lefty, so you're good there. You have 3 outfielders. Joe Healy, could he be your infielder? Do you want him to just be the infielder?
No.
Or do you have another one?
Let's do
Daniel Dickinson? Braswell?
Daniel Dickinson.
Milam?
Let's do Ben Miller from Duke.
Ooh, perfect transition into the coaching carousel. So Ben Miller, infielder from Duke, is the final submission. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 12. You got 12 members of the all Schass squad in 2025.
And that's a mustache play more than anything. Miller does play in the infield, right? He's third baseman, I thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're good. Okay. All right. Good job. Anyways, perfect transition into the coaching carousel, my friend. We'll always love your transitions. We'll miss them as much as anything else. Corey Muscara, the Blue Devils, got moosed. Corey Muscara, new head coach at Duke. Your thoughts?
I love it. I actually am surprised that it worked out as well as it did for the Blue Devils, given Pollard's exit and what had to have been a deal that was done well before the loss to Murray State in that Durham Super Regional, for just how quickly all of that had moved. I thought there was a chance for Josh Jordan at LSU to go back to Durham. But with him continuing, not to say that should recuse him, because we all know Wes Johnson took the gig and remained with LSU while continuing to work and build out his Georgia team in 2023. But I think with Muscara and the familiarity between Wake Forest and Duke and being in the ACC and being in the same state, I think every athletic director has a list, right? They all should. And for Nina King and the Blue Devils, I think that baseball book on that very first page somewhere was Corey Muscara's name. So while he may have slid back a tad since Wake's 2023 College World Series run, I don't think that's at Muscara's fault. It's more so just the makeup of the Wake team and some of the things that they've battled, whether it's injuries or, you can't get back to Omaha every single year unless you're LSU. But yeah, Muscara, I think, is a home run hire. I love his personality, his charisma. He's very nerdy. But just his trek and his career arc, this has always been something, you can, not to make this about me, but like, we all have a dream. We all have a dream job. We all want to hunt for the pinnacle of our career. At least I thought all of us do. I've learned here in the last few months that it isn't in everybody's DNA, and hey, to each is their own. However, for Corey Muscara, this has always been part of the equation, and he's been very selective, right? Like, he had opportunities to leave a couple of years ago after Omaha. I think the Penn State opening is one that comes to mind. He was waiting on the right fit for himself. He was very choosy, very selective. He had leverage, and I think this is the right time for this exit ramp and for this strategy to prosper for him in this new role as the head coach, a CEO of a program. And I think he's going to bring great energy. He's going to be able to recruit certainly some phenomenal arms, given he is and has been a pitching coach, and that is his MO. But I think his personality, I hope it doesn't change. Like, he'll become a little bit more tight, I'm sure. You heard Kevin Schnall talk about, look, as assistant coach, you're treated as a second level citizen in a lot of ways. So he's going to have to curtail and change a little bit, maybe the way that he operates, and now managing a staff and handling the players and everything that comes along with being the CEO of a program. But he's a good dude, and I loved our meeting with him a couple of years ago in the preseason. So super stoked, super excited. I think the Blue Devils are in good hands. It just might take at least a year to rebuild, because they are bludgeoned by Pollard's departure to Charlottesville.
Absolutely. A lot of players have already hopped in the portal and joined Chris Pollard in Charlottesville. The one thing I'll say about Corey Muscara as well, I agree with everything you said. That's going to be the longest player and team meetings of all time, and post-game meetings, because if Duke brings back their radio broadcast and wants to do a post-game interview with the head coach, you're going to have to do a 30-minute post-game show to get on with Corey Muscara, because that guy can talk. Duke got moosed, and it's a great thing, but that man can talk. So players, bring some snacks, bring some drinks, bring a chair, bring a pillow, get comfy. It's going to be a while before you're done with these meetings. Anyway, congrats to Corey Muscara. The other finalist was Dan Skirka at Murray State, and Murray State said, no. You're staying right here. And they signed him to a new deal for 4 years, expected to be the highest paid coach in the Missouri Valley Conference. Very well deserved for Dan Skirka, who brought the Racers to Omaha.
And he had already stopped cutting the grass. That was
false.
Yeah, that was false. Either maybe he did it once upon a time, or it was just a funny nugget that helped kind of the legend and accentuate this whole Murray State Racers run to Omaha. But yeah, upon their arrival in Omaha, and once the media circus began for those 8 teams playing for the College World Series, he did clarify, no, I do not cut the grass. That is not my job. However, it's funny it's a better story if he did, right? But he most certainly will not be doing it moving forward. So I'm glad Murray State was able to get some funds together and lock him up. Not that there was at this stage of the postseason enough openings for him to really consider, because most of these things are all filled. But when you knock out Duke and then their coach leaves overnight, Pollard to Virginia, it seems like a pretty fitting succession plan to have the guy that beat you and cause your coach to leave to take over. So, but no, good on Murray State to keep them close. We'll see if they can replicate and use this momentum here moving forward. So.
Yeah, I agree. Good on Murray State, and good on baseballbarbecue.com, because Baseball Barbecue, as you know, Kyle Schassburger, has just some elite grill tools and cutting boards. Here's the LSU stuff that they have celebrating the national championship. You got the cutting board. It's laser engraved. You got the really cool tools with the baseball bat handles with the team names on them. You get the logo on the edge of the bat handle. You got some really unique cutting board designs, a bottle opener, fork, the slider spatula, everything you could want and more at baseballbarbecue.com. Use the code 3D-20 to get 20% off your purchase and find the perfect grilling gift for the college baseball fans in your life at baseballbarbecue.com. They're fun and functional. Their products are perfect for casual fans or serious grillers. Thank you to Baseball Barbecue for being a sponsor of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. And in that same vein, Kyle Schassburger, my unique surprise for you. I need you to take off your headset, and I need you to go around to the other side of the showcase desk and find the box that's been sitting there the entire podcast.
Oh, my God. Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay. So before this podcast began, I went in and I put Kyle's surprise in a box across the desk from him, knowing that he would either ignore it or just not even notice it. And it is a gift for Kyle. I don't know, where's he going? Kyle, Kyle's looking in the wrong area. Kyle's being a dingus. He's looking in the wrong area. He doesn't know where to look. Oh boy. I put it on the exact opposite side of the desk for him. He obviously didn't see it. Now he's trying to find the box. But anyways, this is a gift from me to Kyle to celebrate his journey as the new voice of Louisiana Tech. He's still looking in the wrong spot. He still doesn't see it. I think he finally found it. I can't tell. Oh, no. Put your headset back on. Oh my goodness.
Not this guy?
No. Put your headset back on. Put your headset back on. I'll tell you.
Where is
Kyle,
Yeah.
At the desk you're currently at right now. Go to the opposite side of that desk and look on the floor. Oh boy.
Oh, okay. I went by the door and was looking at all the other boxes.
I saw. I could see you. Okay. Good job, buddy. Okay, Kyle's going to go find the box now. Oh, goodness. Anyways, I put this in there before the podcast began, knowing Kyle wouldn't see it, so I could surprise him with it at the end. So, what? Oh, he's putting the other box back. Okay. Good job, Kyle. Way to clean up. So, anyways, this is my gift to Kyle to celebrate his ending of his tenure as a co-host at Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers, and moving on to become the new play-by-play voice of Louisiana Tech when he's moving to Ruston next week, actually. All right, he found the box. There we go. I don't know how I could have made my instructions any clearer, but you found the box. All right, Kyle. So this is my gift to you. I was just telling the listeners, this is my gift to you to celebrate you becoming the new play-by-play voice of Louisiana Tech with some help from our friends at baseballbarbecue.com. Go ahead and open up that box.
Oh, really?
And let us know, show off what's inside.
Oh, you didn't.
I sure did.
You didn't.
Yep.
You did.
I did.
You did. Look at that.
Yep.
Look at
Louisiana
that beautiful
Tech cutting board.
Oh, the outline of Louisiana with the power T for Tech.
Yep. Absolutely.
Gosh. Look at this.
Look at it. There it is. Clean
how
as ever.
Oh, it smells so heavenly. Oh, I just want to breathe on it. I just want to breathe on it. I want to inhale it. Man, the laser engraving. This is such high quality craftsmanship. So that's the cutting board.
Yep.
But then we've got a set of some tongs. Oh, it's all here, man.
I got you the silver slugger set from Louisiana Tech.
Oh, goodness. Look at that.
Yep, there it is.
Latex Bulldogs right there.
There you go. And show the logo on the end of the baseball bat.
Oh, yeah, you can't
see it on the tongs, but show the other one.
You can't see it on the tongs.
Yeah, show one of the other ones.
Gosh. Man, this is so exhilarating. Look at that.
There it is. There's
right
the Louisiana Tech logo, that interlocking T and the state of Louisiana L with the pitchfork. They're the fork, poker, whatever the thing. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah.
The fork, I think.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Fork.
Anyways, thank you to Brett Mandel. Did help me out. Got this to me on time. I emailed him and said, Brett, I need this by June 27th. Otherwise, Kyle will not receive it, and he will be gone. And he said, I got you. And he got it to me yesterday. It got here yesterday.
That's
so it
beautiful.
got here just in time. So thank you, Brett Mandel, Baseball Barbecue. We love you. Kyle Schassburger, enjoy.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you, David. Very thoughtful of you. I shouldn't have expected anything less, man. I knew you always take care of me, man. You always have. And while I might want to take you out back and beat you senselessly, every single day it crosses my mind for something that you do or say. I just want to big brother you at every turn. I am deeply, deeply appreciative of everything you've done for me personally, professionally, being there, helping to build this together inside these walls, outside these walls. Yeah, you annoy the living crap out of me so much. And the more time we spend together, the more I want to get away from you. Okay. But that's part of brothers. It is a love-hate type thing. But at the end of the day, we're all pulling the rope in the same direction. And I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have the successes that I have today and the journey I'm about to embark upon this next chapter if it weren't for you and your support and everything you've done to help uplift me throughout the years. So again, thank you, man. I will miss the hell out of you. I'll miss the hell out of our consumers, our viewers on the YouTube channel, the OG listeners on the College Sports Now feed. Dugouts, Dumbbells, Dingers is not going anywhere. You are in good hands with David Kahn. I'm sure you will have, given the eager and over-anxious individual that he is, that shoots for the stars and loads his plate up with way too. I just learned today this guy's going to take over being the notary public of the audio division here at Learfield, which is something I am relinquishing with my exit. And again, why should I not be surprised that this guy's trying to put one more thing on his plate when we got enough changes going on around here? But his personality and how he operates as an individual should never come close to having a stamp to notarize something, because the amount of nerves and anxieties that he is going to cause himself and so many others wielding this stamp, okay, might cause this building to crumble. All right. and I'm glad that I am not here for it. So he has no idea what he's getting into. But all right. But yes, man. It's bittersweet, but it's got to happen. I'm gone. Yeah,
it certainly does. Well,
I will appear, right, talking Tech baseball, G6, whatever it is, Conference USA baseball, at any opportunity where our schedules can line up. I look forward to coming back on, maybe as part of a preview, but certainly a couple of times throughout next spring.
Sure, absolutely, and beyond. Well, yeah, thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it, and I know I annoy the living hell out of you, and it's all out of love. But anyways, yeah, again, congratulations. We are deeply going to miss you here in this building, on this podcast, and Hoover, doing the Phil Steele show, you and I just broing out together. I mean, those are the moments I'll miss the most. I know we're going to have a lot of that this week. We've got a lunch for you tomorrow, a happy hour on Thursday. We've got a thing on Friday. Like, there's so many things going on to celebrate. I mean, how do you celebrate the man, the myth, the legend, Kyle Schassburger? There's never enough celebration. So I know you're headed out on Sunday. So we got to get all the celebration in that we can before you depart for Ruston to start your new journey as the play-by-play voice of Louisiana Tech. I will give you the final words, Kyle Schassburger, if there's anything more you want to say, and then I'll close it out.
Gains.
Why are we surprised? No better way for Kyle Schassburger to close it out. That's going to do it, folks, for us for the 2025 college baseball season on Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers. 26 episodes of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers this year. We rebranded the podcast, whole new imaging, added some new partners with Home Field Apparel, Backyard Baseball Bros, and the Borgo Balls with the Borgonio Brothers. It has been an awesome year, the 5th year of the podcast. It's not going anywhere. More details to come on what is going to happen with the podcast, the direction it's going to take, who will be on it alongside myself. But none of that matters right now. We say thank you to our sponsors, Stephen Hartzell, Adam Witten, for giving us the platform to do this podcast on the part of the College Sports Now and Learfield families. We say thank you to Home Field Apparel, Baseball Barbecue, Backyard Baseball Bros, and the Burgo Balls. Thank you to all of the coaches, the players, the SIDs, the baseball athletic staffers from around the country that have allowed us to do this, the representatives of these teams that come on, share their stories. We sincerely appreciate it. From all of us, just a huge, heartfelt thank you for making this the most successful and biggest year of Dugouts, Dumbbells, and Dingers that there ever was. We will close by saying one final congratulations and farewell to Kyle Schassburger as he moves on to become the play-by-play voice of Louisiana Tech, and rightfully so. We will close with this as we bid you farewell and a safe journey to Ruston. Goodbye, everybody.